Hi everybody, and welcome to the Middle Colonies. Today we're going to be learning about how the experiences of the colonists in the Middle Colonies contributed to our modern society. Things like freedom of speech and freedom of the press and other things that went on with freedom of religion that happened all in these colonies that we, of course, live in today. So I want you to begin today by going back in your packet to the map of the Middle Colonies, and I want you to color in the 4 Middle Colonies, which were New York, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, and Delaware. Make sure to do it in a different color than you did the New England colonies. And when you are finished coloring, you may go ahead and press play again. Okay, so let's start with the geography and climate of the Middle Colonies. Much different than the New England colonies. Here, of course, we have a more temperate climate, just slightly. We have fertile soil. Unlike the rocky soil of the New England colonies, here in the Middle Colonies we had coastal plains of New Jersey and Delaware. Of course, when you go all over New Jersey, you see lots of rivers, and of course we have the ocean, we have the bays, and we have lakes in the northern part. All of this makes for very fertile soil. New York and Pennsylvania have the mountains, and so of course those places are going to be more less inviting for farming, but they're going to have their own advantages. There's woodlands. All this whole area before it was the suburbs of Livingston was a wooded area, lots of oak trees, maple trees, elm trees. This is why our streets are so often named after trees. We have 4 seasons with hot summers and cold winters, kind of short autumn and spring, and this has gotten more pronounced over the years with climate change, but this was always the case here, and much longer growing seasons than the New England colonies. The economy and trade in this area was based on the natural geography. We have cash crops such as corn, wheat, barley, rye, large farms, not as large as in the South, but much larger than in the New England colonies. You would see a farm, maybe a quarter of the size of Livingston would be just one farm, many acres big. There's also a lot of livestock, cattle and pigs are going to be imported from Europe, making meat and dairy products. We have eggs and milk and cottage cheese and all of that stuff coming out of here. Depending on the types of immigrants that were coming to the area would be different crops often. Manufacturing and crafts. In those mountains of Pennsylvania and New York, we're going to have iron. So with that iron and with the wood coming from these trees that are growing all over, we have our clocks and guns and glass. Locks are going to be made, and of course we have these immigrants again coming from different parts of the world bringing their trades with them. Iron is used to make tools and gun parts, nails, and of course we're located halfway in the middle of the coast between the Northeast and New England colonies and the South. We're called the Mid-Atlantic states. Okay, why were these colonies founded? Well, of course they're founded to expand trade for England. England wants to start making money off of these colonies that they invested in the early years, and they understand now that there's natural resources abounding, and they're going to, send some colonists over, make it open for people to come and settle here, and hope that those people can produce some income for England. So religion in the Middle Colonies was much more diverse than in the New England colonies. There wasn't just Puritanism. There was all sorts. There was Quakers, Jews, Catholics, Puritans too. So anybody could be comfortable here. And this quote actually refers to this religious diversity. Someone wrote, "People do not seem to be concerned with what religion their neighbor is. Indeed, they do not seem to care if he has any religion at all." It just shows that we're much more religiously tolerant than in the northeastern region, the New England region. The government in the Middle Colonies was diverse. Again, all sorts of people were allowed to be members of the government here. Of course, they were mostly Christian men, certainly no women for sure, maybe some people of other religions, but There was an elected assembly in each of the colonies. They were self-governing. We're not ruled directly by the king. We had our own governor, and more equality than in New England, and certainly than in England. You're going to be looking now at William Penn's letter to the Free Society of Traders. William Penn, this letter is going to be on page 11 of your packet. William Penn is the founder of Pennsylvania. He's a Quaker, but he's a wealthy Quaker. And this is very notable because he is writing this letter just 9 years before the Salem witch crisis in Salem, Massachusetts. So you can really see the difference in thinking between the Middle and New England colonies. William Penn sends this letter out to try to bring Quakers over to settle Pennsylvania because he wants to gather some natural resources, some wealth from Pennsylvania, but he also wants to give the Quakers a place to live. So I want you to do the following. I want you to go look at that letter on page 11 of your packet. And as you look, I want you to answer these questions in your notebook. What is the document? Who wrote it? When was it written? Where was it written? And why was it written? And you can press play again when you're all finished. Okay, this is going to take you about 5 minutes. Okay, everybody, so we have looked today at the Middle Colonies, their economy, their religion, their geography, and their government. And I want you to think now about the ways that the colonies impacted and influenced America's development. We have so much coming out of these colonies in terms of big ideas. So go on page 10 at the bottom. There's a big box that says Major Influences on America. I want you to fill it out. It could be things that influence our Bill of Rights, our daily life, our government, all of these things. And I will talk to you soon when we do the Southern colonies. Bye-bye.